That's the
Please
law.
tell us and share with our audience, why do you think it's important to remain pure before marriage, even though the world now shows that, you know, having sex outside of marriage is the norm?
Do you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. So the way I answer that question is, you know, I think the more fundamental question is, why should I stay pure at all, right? Whether it's for marriage, in marriage, why should I even bother, right? Why should I try and raise that standard, quote unquote, if you will? So until that question is answered, then, you know, the answers on why stay pure in marriage or in a relationship will not make sense. So I would step back. And for me, as I shared, right, a large part of why that became important is because I realized that I'm not living for myself. It's not about me. You know, I'm pushing to work. I'm pushing to do many things, not because of me, but because I have been lovingly designed with a purpose in this life by God. And if I embrace that as I have, then I begin to ask myself, then if I've been designed by Him, then how should I live my life so that it'll make sense? So as I stepped back and answered that, I realized, okay, there are principles from the Bible, like I showed you earlier. And one of them is related to purity. How I'm like, I never saw it that way, where it isn't by the good things I do that I'm going to get into heaven.
Yeah.
But you knew who Joy's dad was, right? Like he was.
No, I didn't.
You didn't
No,
know he was a pastor and he was,
no,
No,
I
he didn't.
didn't know that world. No. So
Yeah.
I just knew that, you know, I knew that he was doing that, but I did not know the implications. I did not know CCF. I didn't know any of these things. So
Yeah.
it was after that point that I started attending Bible studies. And I would I would attend the Bible studies,
Yeah,
and then I
men's
got
group.
plugged into a men's group.
Yeah.
That was very helpful, you know. So fast forward that whole process, we actually in our dating stage, right, we were struggling with immorality. And we've been open in sharing this, so we can share it to you guys here. We didn't have sex, but, you know, everything kind of surrounding that. And because I had already come to a point where the idea of Christianity, the truths of the gospel were very clear, and I accepted that, started bothering me. And of course, for Joy, it bothered her. So long story short, we broke up. We broke up for half a year because we did not want to go on to the next level. We had finished college at this point. We were working. And if we were going to go anywhere with our relationship, then we couldn't. I didn't have peace, or I didn't want to know that I was looking at the next stage without stepping back and overcoming that struggle, you know. So
and I think it was like, I think it was very clear in our minds that we probably really wanted to get married. But like in my mind, I was thinking, how can God really bless our relationship if we're struggling with the physical aspect of it and it's not pleasing to Him? So that scared me, and that really convicted me. And so when Edric and I talked about it and we decided to break up, that was the main reason, because we would try, you know, to stay holy, to stay pure, but then it seems like we kept on going into this cycle. So when we decided to do that, it was super hard, and we really chose not to communicate with each other. Yeah, you know, that is a great question. And I would say this is where we see the healing of God, and how He restores things. Because the way I felt with Edric, even in my relationship with him, I already felt safe to begin with. And so when we eventually had sexual intercourse in marriage, I felt like it was the way it was supposed to be. This is how I really should have experienced it all along, not the defiling way that I experienced. And it was such a contrast that it wasn't like an apples to apples thing. And I think that that's the amazing thing about how God restores things, right? That he allowed me to see a different way of how He designed sex. And because I saw that it was radically different, we didn't have issues with it by God's grace.